just so like, I mean, I feel like there's a lot behind the scenes that we just as fans will never be privy to and we never understand. And things are a lot very, very political, but at the end of the day, it's the net result that really matters. Like, our CEO who was, great, I thought last year with, the whole, I know we said we wouldn't talk about Lockie anymore, but it was great with the Lockie situation. And then he ended up resigning, which means, makes you go, and then Barry O'Farrell, who was, he's just been reappointed. I think was it late last year, early this year, back to being on the board. So like, why do all of this? It just makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it all definitely is. Like there's definitely a lot of political stuff. Like Barry O'Farrell used to be, the New South Wales Premier, actually Liberal Premier. So I'm sure there's lots of in-faction fighting and stuff like that. And they've just I wouldn't be surprised if HPG was like, we're just going to blow up everything so we can maintain complete control. We feel like we're losing control, and but like to do this based on what was it? There wasn't enough communication and alignment between the board and the parent company. It's that's what it suggests really, but like why bother doing all this stuff? It just just feels like a repeat from last year, really. Yep. And I think the best thing that we can say about all of this was it happened during Christmas. Everybody's on holidays, nobody cares, and since January, these last 2 weeks or so, we haven't heard anything about it at all, really. It just seems like we've moved on. In terms of what you say, in terms of does this upheaval, does it affect the club? Look, like I said, it probably doesn't because of the Christmas, but at the end of the day, it's not a good look. The last thing you want is, if you're Jerome Luai, you've come from a Premier run club and you're going, what in the world? Like, I don't need to be dealing with this stuff. That's what it is. Yeah. But I also, to follow on to another question that you asked, you were thinking about probably was, it still seems that players want to come to our club. Like we managed to still sign KPP last season. Do you know what I'm saying? So maybe all this stuff doesn't have to worry. It can all happen mutually exclusively of what the club is. Yeah. Thoughts like is this normal? Like does this happen to the Titans, for example, Ryan?
Oh, we don't bring the Titans up. We don't bring the Titans up.